Hello YouTube, this is OG Hoenchamp, and I am bringing you my team builder for week 1 of the UBL. Now, it's a little bit of a different situation. I didn't realize it while I was recording week 2, because I thought I would be able to post week 1 earlier. But what's happening is that my opponent, Mysterious Mudkip, has been away and without internet for the past 2 weeks. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get together to battle. I would have liked to post week 1 earlier, but I thought I got to give you guys something. I was getting bored, honestly. So I decided to post my week 2 team builder in game before even doing my week 1 battle. However, don't worry, I'm not taking a forfeit. I don't like to take a forfeit as a general rule. I'd rather play a game and get 6-0'd by the other guy than take a forfeit win. To be completely honest. So, I'm glad that it's working out. Hopefully I'll meet up with him soon to battle. But for now, let's get right into the team builder. So, first let's start by analyzing the Milwaukee Sawsbucks team. Oh my god, Mysterious Mudkip had a pretty crazy draft. I mean, he got a lot of good mons, and let's go straight through them. I'm going to give you what I think of each Pokemon, what I think he's going to bring. So let's start out with the first Pokemon. Oh my god, I don't even want to say its name. This is Chansey. And honestly, I almost regret naming my Clefable 666 as in Satan, because compared to Clefable, Chansey is Lucifer. Chansey is actually the worst Pokemon in the world, and I hate it so much. I hate going up against this Pokemon so much. It's so bulky. It has the special defense. It has the HP. And with the Eviolite, it has the defense to take on so many Pokemon. And it's ridiculously annoying to take on. Oh my god. I think Chansey's a definite bring for him. I'm just saying right now. I think he's going to bring Chansey. I mean, this thing has Soft Boiled, it has Wish, it has Protect, it has Thunder Wave, it has Seismic Toss, it has Toxic. It has Thunder Wave. There are so many moves it can run. It has Heal Bell and Natural Cure. You can't even, you have to trap it in and poison it or something to get anything off on it. I hate this Pokemon so much. I have prepped for it. I have a plan for it. I think he's going to bring it. Okay, enough of a rant on Chansey. Next up is Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, very great defensive Pokemon. Fire and, Grass and Steel only leaves 2 weaknesses in Fire and Fighting. Fighting is mostly physical, and Ferrothorn is more physically defensive, so usually it doesn't fear Fighting type attacks that much, but Fire type attacks usually will do a really good amount of damage to it. So I have prepped for this. I think Ferrothorn is a very possible lead for him. Bring for him as well, with Spikes, Leech Seeds, Stealth Rock, as well as some Power Whip, knockoff shenanigans. You can even run Swords Dance for a physically offensive variant. We'll see. I've prepped for that. I'll show you what I prepped for. Next up is Garchomp. Garchomp, also another likely bring for him. Another great physically defensive Pokemon. You can run it with Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin, or you can take the other way and run a Swords Dance or Choice Band variant, where it hits very hard on the offensive side. Definitely something I need to watch out for. Outrage, Earthquake. Hits a lot of my team pretty hard. But then again, there are a lot of Pokemon that I have, specifically Mega Venusaur, that wall it out really well. Next up is Blissey. Now, I'm pretty sure he only picked up Blissey in order to stop someone else from getting him. Because if you have Chansey, you really don't need Blissey. Chansey is a Blissey times 10. So I think he's preventing someone from getting it and using it as trade fodder, which is perfectly fine. It's a legitimate strategy. I personally don't do that because I would rather get the Pokemon from the draft and then trade if I need it. But to each their own. Blissey, great Pokemon. Don't think he's going to bring it, so I'm not even going to really spend too much time on it. And if he does bring it, I have the physical prowess to take it out. Blissey is not nearly as physically defensive as Chansey. Alright, so next up is Metagross. Lead Metagross with Stealth Rocks or defensive Metagross I'm not scared of. A choice banded Metagross terrifies me. I think that's a possible bring for him. I don't know if he's going to think of choice banded Metagross, but it can, if it has the right coverage moves, it can 2-hit KO everything on my team, which is a scary thought. I mean, between Psychic Stab for Venusaur, between Ground Stab for pretty much everything else, and Earth Stab. What am I saying? Earthquake for everything else, and Meteor Mash for things like Clefable. I mean, I don't really have much of a response to Choice Banded Metagross, except that I have to see what he locks himself into, because if he switches in, something dies. Next up is Toxicroak. Pretty good physical attacker. I mean, not the greatest in the world. It can run Sucker Punch. It could have Gunk Shot, Drain Punch, Ice Punch. I mean, it's just not a great bring against my team, because I have a lot of responses to it. Mainly, Mega Venusaur can take any hit from it without fearing anything. Next up is Typhlosion. This is a Pokemon I'm extremely scared of, because I only have a few responses to it. Especially a Choice Specs set. I mean, honestly, Choice Scarf Earthquake is very scary, but it doesn't hit my responses as hard as Specs does. But if he brings Specs, I have something that can outspeed it, which is, hopefully, I'm going to have to scout and see what set he decides to run, what item he decides to run. That's going to be the important thing. But honestly, even with Thick Fat, Choice Scarf Eruption does, Choice Specs Eruption does almost 90% to Venusaur, which is a scary thought. So, I think I prepped for it. I think he's going to bring it. Very likely bring it. Anyway, next up is going to be Electros. Electros, great Assault Vest Pokemon, which is the set I think he's going to bring if he brings it. Very likely bring. The good news is Venusaur pretty much walls him out completely, unless he predicts that and goes for a Volt Switch. That would not be good. But it's just a very good pivot Pokemon and a very good all-around special attacker. Can absorb a bunch of hits as well. Can restore health with Drain Punch or Giga Drain, and also has moves like Flash Cannon, like Flamethrower for additional coverage. Can get knockoff. Very versatile Pokemon. I'm going to have to watch out for it, make sure I don't underestimate its capabilities. Next up is Absol. Absol's a pretty good revenge killer, especially. And it has a bunch of coverage with Play Rough and Psycho Cut, Superpower, for example, and also gets a lot of utility and knockoff and Sucker Punch and Pursuit. Do I think it's a good bring against my team? No, because I have Venusaur, I have Clefable, I have Terrakion with Justified, and honestly, the only reason I can see him bringing it is to try to Pursuit Trap Jirachi, but Jirachi is faster, I believe, and if he switches in Absol and Jirachi, I'm not going to switch out, because if I switch out, Pursuit will kill. If I don't, Pursuit will not kill, and I can proceed to destroy it with Iron Head and such. Alright, next up is Stunfisk. Kind of a gimmicky Pokemon. Can run Earth Power, Scald, Discharge, and then generally has Toxic or Thunder Wave. Not a very likely bring, I don't think. Too much of my team matches up well against it, and I can just pretty much destroy it. Next up is Flareon. Flareon is a scary Pokemon if he can get a +1 speed with like Flame Charge or something. Simply because it fire typing is very scary, and also Superpower and Facade. If it's Toxic Orb, Flame Charge, that could wreck my team. But if he doesn't bring this plus the speed, I do really well against him with Terrakion. I do really well with Blastoise, stuff like Venusaur, etc., etc. So I don't know if he's going to bring Flareon. I think in terms of fire types, Typhlosion's a better bring for him. Yeah. Anyway, next is Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck is a pretty good Swords Dance user, and the Grass and Normal type is not bad coverage, but the fact remains that I have a lot of responses to it. With Venusaur, I know Terrakion can pretty much OHKO it with close combat and outspeed, unless he's running the Choice Scarf set, but even then I don't take too much damage from even a Jump Kick. Yeah. Pokemon to watch out for. Possible bring. I don't think it's going to be a worthwhile bring for him, but he could bring it. And last but certainly not least, oh my god, I feel like I'm so scared of these megas, but Mega Gardevoir just absolutely takes a dump on my team if I let him. I mean, between Focus Blast, Psyshock, and Hyper Voice, it just does so much damage. And I do have a plan for it. I was thinking about bringing Metacham with Bullet Punch, but I Metacham just doesn't stack up well against the rest of his team. It's very risky because it's a damage roll as well between Fake Out, Bullet Punch. It's just a really weird thing. I have a better response for it, I think. And actually, I will show you guys right now. So let's go right into my team now, so you can see what I'm bringing to it. Now, this is my team. We have Lunatic, the Jirachi, Vineyard Vines, the Venusaur, Typhon, the Entei, 666, the Clefable, Farah, the Terrakion, and Bowser, the Blastoise. Now, 4 of these Pokemon I did bring last week, but I am bringing slightly different sets for each of them, so let's go through them now. I am bringing a substitute variant of Jirachi. Now, you might be wondering why I'm doing this. This is so I can switch into that Chansey, put up a substitute so he can't Thunder Wave me, and my substitute has 101 health. And what that means is that I can take a Seismic Toss no matter what, and it will not break the sub after 1 hit. He has to go for 2 Seismic Tosses in order to break my substitute, which means I go for substitute, he goes for Seismic Toss. I can live with my substitute intact, proceed to Iron Head, hopefully get the flinches, because otherwise, I mean, God, Chansey is so bulky. I need 5 Iron Heads to take it out. 5 Iron Heads in a row. It's ridiculous. But I do have a better plan for Chansey, but this is my backup in case I really need to. And I can just keep setting up the substitutes. There's not much you can do about that. He will run out of Seismic Tosses likely before I run out of substitutes. And if I really need to, I will PP stall that Chansey. Okay. Otherwise, we have Fire Punch for that Ferrothorn, and Ice Punch in case he decides to bring Garchomp. Just general utility moves, nothing super special. I put just enough speed, I believe, to outpace. No, I didn't. I don't think I'm gonna have to check that later, but I want to put in enough speed to outpace Mega Gardevoir and kill with an Iron Head, because I really don't like the idea of possibly taking a Will-O-Wisp if he brings that. So yeah, that is Lunatic. Now we go on to Vineyard Vines, the Mega Venusaur. Now, Mega Venusaur is my primary response to a lot of his Pokemon. I'm bringing a sort of mixed set. I didn't really want to lower my speed, although I guess I could, but I didn't really want to lower my speed. So I'm running knockoff mainly for utility against that Chansey. If I can knock off its Eviolite or knock off Typhlosion's Scarf on the switch-in, Scarf or Sash specs on the switch-in, that would be amazing. Definitely looking to do that. And this is my primary switch into things like the Garchomp, things like the Ferrothorn, anything that hits physically. This is just a physical wall. Hidden Power Fire for the Ferrothorn, as you saw last week. Sludge Bomb hits everything not named Ferrothorn harder than stuff like Giga Drain, and I have Synthesis Recovery. So yes, that's going to be my set for this week. Next up is Typhon, my Assault Vested Entei. Yes, I'm bringing Assault Vest again this week. The reason is, again, the same reason as last week. I don't really have a switch in to Typhlosion. Last week, well, week 2, it was Charizard Y. This week is Typhlosion. I don't know what it is, but I feel I just need to bring Assault Vest. I'm going to actually put that into Special Defense just to get a slight bit more of defense. And so what my plan is, I can bulldoze almost anything. If I bulldoze, I can hit things like the Gardevoir, things like the Ferrothorn, slow them down, and then proceed to Sacred Fire everything and kill stuff. That would be nice. And yeah, also Stone Edge will kill Typhlosion after a Bulldoze, or I could just go double Bulldoze. Either one is fine. Extreme Speed just for utility in case I need to outspeed something. Next up is 666, my Satanic with Fable. And I'm running a little bit of a different set than last week. Instead of a setup Pokemon with leftovers, I am running a Life Orb Tank Fable, I think it's called, with Moonblast, Flamethrower, Soft Boiled, and Stealth Rock. Now, I decided to bring Stealth Rock on Clefable this week because I wanted to run different coverage moves on Terrakion instead. So this is pretty much going to be my lead Pokemon. I'm going to set up Stealth Rocks. The Pokemon I think he's going to bring don't have the ability to Rapid Spin, which is nice. And I don't think he really has any Pokemon that can Rapid Spin. I'm going to look really quick right now. No, he does not have a Rapid Spinner, and that is huge. That is amazing for me. I can set up the Stealth Rocks without fear that they're getting spun away, and I can then, if I cause a couple switches, Typhlosion will take damage so it can't Eruption me. Just amazing things will happen. And also I'm running Moonblast for anything not named Ferrothorn, and I'm running Flamethrower for Ferrothorn. Alright, next up is Farah. Still Life Orb, but this time, instead of a Stealth Rock set, I am running a Swords Dance variant. Now, the great thing about this is that without Choice Scarf, I absolutely outspeed everything on his team. So, if I can get this in on a Pokemon that can't do much damage to me, for example, that Electros, unless he brings Flash Cannon perhaps, but I don't think even Flash Cannon can do too much to me. Check one more time. I don't know if he can have Superpower either. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to check this really quick. I want to make sure that I can switch in on this. Flash Cannon does not kill me. Superpower does not even kill me. Okay, so I can go for a Swords Dance freely on something like the Chansey, on something like the Electros, and proceed to just wipe the floor with everything on his team with my combination of stab attacks and Earthquake. It's crazy. It does so much damage. I love it. At +2, this thing actually outspeeds and kills everything short of a Choice Scarf user, which hopefully he doesn't bring. Please, don't bring Choice Scarf Typhlosion. That would just ruin my day. But yeah, so we ran a little bit of extra HP just to take less damage from the Seismic Toss, take a little less damage from other attacks, hopefully be able to live and get a Swords Dance off, and proceed to sweep. So that's my plan with Farah. And finally, Bowser. This is my second response to that Typhlosion, and also in case he brings Stealth Rock Spikes on Ferrothorn, I have Rapid Spin to get rid of that. Toxic for Chansey in case he decides to push my buttons a little bit. Yeah, Aura Sphere for hitting the Chansey a little harder and for hitting the Ferrothorn. Scald hits everything else pretty well. And just Rapid Spin, like I said, get rid of Spikes, Stealth Rocks, Leech Seed if he sends Ferrothorn in on this guy. The only thing is, yeah, Ferrothorn pretty much hard walls this thing, unless I can get a burn and then just go for Aura Spheres. But likely I won't be staying in with this guy on Ferrothorn anyway. So, that's going to be my team for this week. Hope y'all are excited to see this match. Mysterious Mudkip, you're going to bring Chansey. I'm going to hate you for it, but it's going to be a great match. So, I will see you guys in the next video, in the battle. Hopefully, more collabs coming up soon. And I will see you champs later. Peace.